The Warriors turnaround Tuesday has been canceled. How you doing, Paul, Jordan, Jahab, Mike, Michael Weissman? Canceled due to the lack of volatility and volume. Instead, we're going to have Whiplash Wednesday tomorrow. So get ready for different things. Anyway.
All right, I'm laughing.
Huh?
I'm laughing.
No, it doesn't sound, that's a fake laugh. So anyway, cable never closed back over the breakdown line. So you still have to respect it. And it looked like yen was rolling over yesterday, and it's not, and it's above 70 here. Don't know what to do with that. And EG still trying to, come out of this 50-day. Looks okay. And gold, I don't know. I thought it might have a chance to go a little higher. I don't like it, but could still rally to 1940, 50. I tell you what, the one thing that does look pretty clean to me, if it happens, and maybe the market doesn't even have enough strength to do it, would be, maybe we're just failing from this decline and we're not going to make it up to 4,500. Anyway, I don't have a feel for the markets this week. Anyone else feel that way?
Yeah, there's a few pairs walking on tight ropes.
Yeah.
Kiwi, Aussie dollar, that sort of thing. The dollar yen breaking 147.
Okay.
That's gonna.
Yeah, it looks like the Aussie wants a new low.
Yeah.
So you have a cold or something? Your voice sounds a little raspy there, Ryan.
Yeah, no, just a rough weekend. Busy weekend.
All right. So Dixie, I was showing this while you were gone yesterday. Let me ask you, Ryan, can we crack this weekly moving average here? So we're kind of like trapped between the breakout was 103.5, and this is 104.50. That's the 50 week. What do you do here?
I think it's possible. As I say, there's a few pairs on walking tight ropes. If they fall off, you're going to get a bit of a cascade. Dollar yen started it. As I say, Kiwi, Aussie dollar. If they fall through their respective lows, you're going to get all these pairs. It's going to be like a domino effect, and then you probably get you'll probably see 105 in the Dixie if that happens. So it's all as I say, it's just a waiting game at the moment. If we can't all break down in all these dollar pairs, then no, it's going to be a tough ask to get your levels in the Dixie unless one pair does all the heavy lifting like dollar yen or something.
Okay. All right. And Cayman was
Hi,
talking
hi.
about, hey, buddy, so you were talking about dollar strength into Wednesday. Nice call.
Yeah.
I think tomorrow's the super moon, the blue moon. Is it the last day of August?
Could be. Yeah, could be.
Thursday
Today,
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Today we're trading value date end of month, and I reckon it's not a stranger to what's happening in the yen and in other dollar pairs. So tomorrow maybe, because August is not like your biggest month, right? It's not an end of the quarter or so, but then we may still be struggling a little bit with liquidity ahead of September and ahead of what's to come later this week, because we've got a decent slew of data also out.
Yeah, it looks like a bull flag to me in dollar won. You guys, Ryan, and you see it that way?
No, I'm just watching what happens around 727-ish. If that, as long as that holds, I've got a bit of a broken trend line there. It's still oriented topside, but it's undeniable that PBOC is keeping it on a very tight leash. So we have to respect that as well. Again, who knows? Perhaps some month-end flows or whatever, but I think really September is going to be more interesting for a lot of currencies actually.
Yeah, I think
and
for
possibly the yuan as well. And it can
Uh,
September can really kick off with a bang on Friday if we get like a big surprise on the US labor report.
yeah, maybe we get weaker.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's
Yeah,
some people expecting a weaker one, and it would be, if it's a real weak one, it would be one of the dominoes that had to fall and is starting to fall. So that could have a bigger impact. So let's see.
what are your thoughts about China intervening in their stock market? I don't know if they're doing direct buying, but offering, some type of incentives,
Plenty.
because they did get a lift, something artificial from the government.
Yeah, they're doing plenty for their stock market.
What is it exactly?
Well,
Excuse me.
they're lowering the taxes on stock
Capital
markets and the
gains.
fees, and they have halved them. I suspect, and they are spurring their local investors or companies to do buybacks. They give relief on this morning. They are giving relief on mortgages. They are doing plenty to try and get it kickstarted again. But then the news on profits and stuff is not good. So yeah, and we could have effects coming in, but it's not for today, I reckon, or tomorrow. It's going to take.
It's going to takes a long time. Maybe maybe they're futile. Maybe it's desperation and these things aren't working. First, the 2 interest rate cuts didn't work. Everyone said was weak. Do you think this is robust enough to turn around the economy?
Desperation in China is a big, easy to use in China is a big word. It could be, but I don't think they are desperate yet.
Okay.
But yeah, they are worried enough for the PBOC to try and stop, or at least slow down the weakening of the yuan materially. So they're worried enough. Now, desperate is, I don't know, then they probably step in with their big boots and kill all the speculation and put dollar yuan back to 7. But I don't think they are ready to do that now, because they are going to need it probably a bit on the weak side when the economy kickstarts for real again. But then they will have the investors come back. So but that's going to take a bit of time, I think.
Yeah,
I think
maybe not. Go ahead, Ryan.
Sorry, mate. I was going to say, I think it's dangerous for people to look through the same lens at the PBOC that they do for the Fed and the ECB when there's economic problems. It's a completely different ball game for those guys.
That's what I was going to say. So, the fact that they're doing this, it's the same PBOC that, made top tech executives disappear and took the tech sector apart. Okay. Their pressures and draconian things that they did to guys like Jack Ma. This seems like a turnaround. So maybe they are desperate, because it's certainly a different posture towards their financial markets than they had a year ago when they were, imprisoning people and causing a lot of damage, carnage in their equity market.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, but then they are very, very vastly different, aren't they? Though, so you got to think of how China works in a couple of senses. One of them is, if they go down the same road as all the other Western nations, QE, heavy stimulus, that sort of thing, how does that play domestically? Oh, look, you've had to do exactly the same as all those Western countries you tell are very bad. All the population says, well, you've just done the same thing as everyone else. So that's one reason why they don't go down that road. And the second is they don't need to. They've got such control over every part of Chinese life. Cutting mortgage rates by small pips can be enough to stimulate things, but it's not going to happen overnight. And if that's what they need to keep doing, they'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing till they get the result.
Okay.
And that's not what
Right.
happens in the Western world. In the Western world, you cut rates by 50 pips. You want to see action 2 months later.
Yeah. Yeah, they have more patience.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Any view on what's happening with these commodity currencies? I do have a formation that looks interesting to me that we never got to. I think it's coming in around some important levels that Blake talked about. 63-ish, 62.5 maybe. Let me ask you guys something. Is it possible that the Aussie could bottom in the 62 range and we still get a break in euro to like 102 and cable to 116? Could Aussie hold 62 if those other things happen?
I don't think so, personally.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how that could happen.
For the euro to get to 102, some sort of poo has got to have hit the fan. And if it's hit the Europe, it's definitely going to hit the others.
Right.
Okay.
I was just gonna say I'd agree exactly with what Ryan's saying.
Okay, cool. All right. Metals, Blake, I still think we're going to get our chance down here. And you know what? Even though I'm not long anymore, just watching market behavior sometimes, like, it looks like it's probably impossible that we're going to get a break here. It's because you have to respect how well it did during risk off last week. So it may, it still could break, but I still have a message from this, even if we end up trading down here. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Is that, someone could show their character and still have a setback, but the fact that they've shown this character makes you want to bet on them when they're retesting or taking out lows. And the gold silver ratio is the visual of it. So looks pretty ugly, had the big break and just moved sideways. If we start taking out 78, you're talking about the 50s. And for most of my career, it traded at 40 to 1. So that's what I think a lot of people are looking for, 40 to 1. So still plenty left on the outperformance of silver compared to gold, if this gold silver ratio chart is saying that we had a big break and all we've done is move sideways. Yeah, I guess it could be a base and take off, but to me it looks like, third, fourth time at major support. I wouldn't trust it. And those are my calls. The next one is yours. 800-899 bear. And I'm not Vermont teddy bear. When I had that 800 number, Blake, you know how many calls I got for the Vermont teddy bear?
How many?
I could have had a good side business. Yeah, what do you want? The Valentine's Day bear, the Christmas bear. Anyways, those were the last digits of my 800 number when people actually had offices and people would call you, Fred Flintstone era.
Oh
Anyway.
geez. All right, Dale. I'm going to take it from here, buddy. You've lost your marbles at this point. Talking about the.
I'm not going to argue with you.
All right. First of all, as we get into North American trade, Dale, do you have an interview coming in today?
I screwed this whole week up. I thought it was I had them Wednesday and Thursday, and it is Monday and Tuesday. Rohit should be here today. And so I screwed up Stelios. It should have been James yesterday. I don't know if he showed, and Rohit today. So I'm going to look for Rohit and see if he's going to come in, even though we didn't promote it. So
okay. Well,
right.
let's first of all, let's talk about yields. Yields are supportive here, but actually, I want to take that back. One of the things that that's moving higher is the dollar yen. We broke higher in this bull flag pattern. So we're at the 100 or almost at the 127% extension of this last move, which would have been our next target. Like if you just read the ForexAnalytix analysis, the next resistance is 146.70 up to the 127% extension, which would be 147.30, which we're 10 pips away from now. Obviously, we're going to hit it this morning. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't. But I wanted to ask Ryan and K-Man, is it surprising that we're seeing the yen move higher with yields marginally moving higher? What do you guys think here?
No, not at all. I said it yesterday already. I think I'm a bit long of the stuff. For me, it's not surprising at all. And end of month models are supporting the same. I think it's pretty logic that we are here. Well, I mean, we never know the speed, we never know the flows, we never know the size of the flows. But for me, it's not surprising at all that we're here. It's there's logic in this, and it's not only yields that are driving this, right? It's end of month, it's UA keeping mum about any possible monetary policy adjustments also upcoming. No, and we see it not only in dollar yen, right? It's if you look at the yen crosses, they are also gradually moving higher.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, technically, the dollar yen still has further to go, as we've been discussing. The pound yen had a double top. It's kind of back through its neckline. The Aussie yen is Aussie yen's breaking higher out of this channel that we are in. Kiwi yen's trying to grind up there a little bit. Canadian yen's getting back up towards its trend highs. It's kind of directionless, but it still has some room to move. And the peso yen is nearing its is it all-time highs? It's all-time highs. So I mean, we continue to see these moves in that direction. And I have to say, the dollar yen, I know we talked about it yesterday. We were showing the butterfly pattern, we were showing the flag pattern, and Dale, and then there's a channel it comes up around 148 to 148 to 150.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of trucking up there, but it seems like a dollar move all the way around. I mean, if you look at the dollar index, you got the euro back below 108. The dollar index is just staging a big move at the moment. The euro's back below 108. The sterling's trying to break down into new lows. It's getting close. The Aussie is flirting with that 64-cent level. Kiwi's at 59-cent, big level. And the dollar Canadian, grinding back up towards its highs, and some key resistance up here. But it seems like, overall, kind of a dollar story right now, and you can see gold's under pressure too. So kind of a one-way market in a low liquidity environment. I was telling people in the chat room, this is like my least favorite week. This is between this week and Christmas week is like my least favorite weeks to be trading. And Christmas week, the reason why I like it more is because it's actually the holidays. So I know I'm going to see my family for a few days, but anyway, I wanted to say, Ryan, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
So how was time with the family?
Knackering.
What's that? Hard work. All right. So what do you make out of this movement here that we're seeing in the markets? What when you're coming back to it, anything that stands out most to you?
No, just as it's clearly dollar strength, as we've been saying, and as I said today, there's still a few pairs that are hanging on in there, like the Aussie and Kiwi. You want to see a resolution of some of these levels that we've been holding. Either they're going to hold and move higher or they're going to bust and go lower. You know, you just had dollar CAD on there. We've been mooching. We've tried the 136. We've been up and down around it. Is this the time in the loonie where we see a proper break of 136 and we head to 137, which would be nice. Talking my book. But on the opposite side, like you've got the Kiwi there, I'm still long a bit. I'm getting a bit anxious about the lack of bounce in it. So I'm still running my sell stops below that trend line. Well, not that one. I've got another one that comes in around, oh, I can't remember now, 58, 80-ish, I think it is, 75, 80-ish. I've got some sell stops below there. And if we get a break, then it could be trapdoor opening time.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's kind of trapdoor on a lot of different markets. I mean, you know, and one thing I wanted to point out too is daily sentiment is still strong, but it's not extreme at this point either. So if you're thinking, man, this dollar's been going higher for a long time, it has, but it's, what's that?
Where's it at?
Well, let me show you in the chat room. You're gonna go right here, and let's get over to the DSI. Where am I? News and research. Okay, just make sure I'm out where I'm supposed to be at. And the DSI for the dollar is, let's see, where is it? 84. So it's not like super extreme yet, but it can be. You know what I mean? So it can get there. So not super extreme just as of yet. You know, one thing I noticed yesterday as well, and K-Man, you might be able to comment on this because we haven't seen any, well, data's coming in later on this week. The dollar Mexican peso managed to find a bounce yesterday, which was surprising in, you know, but again, it's all flow driven, but it was a little bit surprising since, you know, the stock market was not really doing much either. So
88% retrace.
Yeah, it hit the 88%.
We're coming down. We're coming close to important levels, right? And for one as well, I think there's a lot of dollars in it since last night and today. If you look at the whole thing, I'm just going to repeat that we are trading value date end of month. People, you know, they know what that may mean. And it may be related, you know, all those dollar moves. If you look at the crosses, they don't move a lot in the mix, but yeah, the dollar yen is now following the rest of the dollars as well. Could do until the month end, and then we'll see. I think, you know, for the mix, Friday will be an important day because if the US sputters, the mix could actually suffer a bit from it.
You know, there's I made this point on the week ahead video, and I'm gonna just take you guys a little bit longer term in the dollar max. This is a weekly chart, and you can see just kind of where we're at. We came out of this wedge. It was, you know, we've been kind of monitoring this wedge for a long time. And let me zoom in here, and you can see all this divergent relative strength, right? We're almost like worked it all off already, but I was hoping that we'd get like a retest of this trend line, which would take us all the way down below 1650, you know, 1640 or so. And the reason why this could work, if we see something like this where we hit new lows, that would mean, you know, relative strength would make one more leg lower, but we would continue to be divergent like this. There's a chart that's very similar to this setup, but it's opposite, and it has nothing to do with currencies, and that's the DAX. If you looked at the German DAX, we came out of an ascending wedge, and you know, we broke down through in here. Let me draw it out for you guys. This is something that I was showing everybody on the week ahead video. We broke down, we came back and retested the wedge, but made a new marginal high and then reversed from there. And that's kind of what I think, what I think is what I'd hope happens with the dollar Mexican peso is I hope we make a fresh new low here, you know, like this, a fresh new low. And then I might try to get long if we do a breakdown and then reversal. So if we can reverse past the breakdown point, then I'm going to be looking to get long. But that happens from time to time. You see moves like that happen. So wow, the dollar is just taking off, guys.
You need okay data in the US to keep the investors how should I say, positive on the mix as well. So the thing is, if positive data in the US, but not overwhelmingly positive, not if the NFP prints 500K and the unemployment rate drops below 3.5%. But if you get like just okay data, I think the mix will continue to do well because of the proximity and because of the investors still being positive. Yeah. I think for the mix to turn around, you need bad US data or bad mix data. But I mean, the Mexican data will probably depend a lot on what's happening in the US anyway. So
yeah, one of the things about we have out of Mexico this week, and let me just confirm. I believe we have GDP data. We have unemployment. We have unemployment on Thursday, right?
GDP
so
came out.
What's that?
GDP came out just at the start of the show, just 1/10 below the preliminary. So the final one, no big dramas.
Yeah,
one is 3.6 or 3.6 year on year versus 3.7 preliminary. So not a lot of change there.
Not a lot of change there in the backward looking number, but maybe we might get some activity towards the end of the week with their employment data. So that they have unemployment rate that's expected to tick down. So we'll see. But you guys can see that the dollar is just continuing to make a move here. By the way, and Dale, I'm going to ask you this: is Rohit here? Has he? Have you seen him?
No, not yet. I've
okay,
sent him
all right.
a message.
All right. So just confirming, I don't want to bleed into this into his time. So take a look at the dollar index, guys. The dollar index is spiking higher. Remember, lack of liquidity, but we're seeing, big levels being probed. You got the euro dollar back below 108. You got the sterling about ready to press through these lows. And Ryan, I'm going to ask you this: what was your? I know you just did the trade-off with Michael Brown from Trader X. What, you don't have to tell us what your trade of the day is. What was the theme of the show, and kind of prep us for that?
Yeah, well, the theme of the show is a little review of Jackson's Hole and what's coming up for central banks. What's really going to tip central banks into a cut cycle? That's a part of the year. What we need to look for from economies and things like that. And yes, my play of the day is going okay so far. I won't.
Good. So now you prepped us what the play of the day is, but we don't know until we watch the show. So make sure you put the link in the chat box so people know how to find your show. By the way, the Aussie dollar is sitting on bear flag support. This would be the flag support right here. And remember, this is a big weekly triangle. I mean, it's huge support. Kiwi, big 618 retracement. We're sitting there. We just blasted through 59 cents. Looks like a lack of liquidity type of move happening in currencies. We got the dollar Canadian pushing right up against, this is resistance going way back into May. Big previous support, current resistance, big resistance zone we've had drawn out here forever. It might also be ascending wedge resistance as well. So I don't know if you want to step in front of it necessarily, but just realize that we're pushing up against some resistance levels as we speak. And the dollar yen continues to blast higher. I mean, look at the dollar yen. We're past the 127% extension. Looks like we might even see 148 today. And 148 would be the butterfly completion area, which is a 260% return, extension, 161% extension of this last consolidation, 261% extension, which would be leg D. which also would take us to big channel resistance. So if we get up to 148, you might want to just be careful up there. So but that's pretty much it. Dale, do you have anything else that you wanted to go over today?
No, just, tread lightly, still this week. I still think that when the money comes back next week from the Hamptons, we're gonna have better trading opportunities. So just, the only thing I have conviction on right now that I'm sitting on is a short cable, and I didn't yesterday, but today's action, at least now I could tighten up stops, closes back over that, what is it, 126.30 level would change things, but it couldn't close above it. This is the second time it's tried. So, I mean, that's a head and shoulders formation, Blake, we've been talking about for weeks. So you have to give that neckline a chance, right? I mean, it measures 121.
Yeah, 120, I think, is what the measurement that I had, but yeah,
I'm sure
something like
there'll
that.
be stops in between, like 24, 24 and a half, but that's right out of the textbook, and they tried to negate it, and so far they haven't. So now you know where you're wrong. It's not like you have to risk 130 anymore. So, could risk the breakdown.
Right. There's your
Yeah.
there it is. Looks something like that.
Yeah.
So
that's a high confidence formation for me today. The way,
all right, as long
especially
and
after the tests.
126.30, and we're not too far away from there. So you know where your get out point is.
Wrong. Yeah.
Yep.
On a close over that.
Well, there you go. And I want to say thanks everybody for being here with us. I know like I said, this is like one of my least favorite weeks of the year to be in front of the computer, but I'm glad that you all are here with us. Ryan came in. Want to thank you all for being here today with us, and appreciate you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah. And I really screwed up the schedule this week. So I lost a few marbles. And I think in my head, it was, last week of August, and many people are away, or it's their last chance to take some time off. But thanks for bearing with me, and I'll see what I could do about getting our guests here before the end of the week. So Rohit, I really enjoy his stuff, and I'd like to talk to James about what he's seen in the metals markets and the banks. There's a lot of articles about the banks, so move your money around in case they do begin to limit withdrawals. Have a few different banks, and I've been reading that the withdrawal is accelerating from these banks. So just like the market, diversify, and maybe keep some cash, and maybe own some metals, and you're not trading them, you own them, because I still think there's a chance that this thing flares up and turns into something that didn't just disappear in March. So just what they say, Blake, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So buy some fire insurance and trade.
All right.
It. And
fire insurance it is.
All right, buddy. So that's a wrap, everyone. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And thanks, Blake and K-Man and Ryan. Go take a nap, and
Cheers, Coach.
feel better. And I'll see everyone tomorrow.
Yeah, feel better, Ryan.
See you guys.
Cheers.